I did it.
It worked?
Hi, hello. All right. We are live on our own without Joseph.
What happened?
We're
Oh,
good.
are we not? We're good? We're on? We're live?
Oh,
I think we can see us.
you guys are live right
We're
now.
live. There's a delay.
Is there a delay?
There's always a delay when I'm watching you guys.
That's kind of cool, right? I kind of like that background.
I
What
love
do you
it.
think? I love it too. All right, Joseph, we're going to try to
Alright.
share. Do you see us on Facebook?
He's working on it. Do you see us on Facebook? Is it just delayed?
No, I see you guys talking.
Oh, no, he sees us.
Oh, hi.
We're good.
We're good. Okay.
Say hello to everybody.
Welcome. Thank you. We made it. We're surviving. This is our first ever show with Chris and Jen. Kristen Osho. Now I'm not going to watch myself because that's weird. Okay, here we go. How you doing, Jen? Welcome.
Good. We did it. We've got the technology hopefully all settled. We're using my new laptop, so hopefully that's efficient.
All right. How was your day today, Jen? How was your weekend?
It was good. We got to see a lot of friends and we watched a lot of live music, so that was refreshing. We haven't gone out in a few weekends, and it was nice to go have fun. What about you?
Okay, amazing. So I had a really great weekend as well. It's funny because spirit pops in the strangest of times, and so I'm sitting with my girlfriend Haiti, and we were having a couple of beverages, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But and she had said to me that her son they're from Finland, and yeah, so they're from Finland, and this is his first time here in the US and his first time in school. And he's in school he said, there are so many different diverse groups of kids in any given class. So there are a couple of children from the Ukraine, which we understand why. There are kids from Russia in the school. He's from Poland. And that's just covering, certain parts of Europe. So he was also telling me that there's Brazilians and Guatemalans and Cubans and every kind of South American, culture is in there. And I realized at that moment, it kind of hit me that the idea of being an American is changing.
Very true. Even looking back when we were in school, it was not like that at all.
No, right? You're right. We might have had one kid from out of town or one kid who didn't speak, but most of the children spoke English and whatnot. And it was a different time back then. And it hit me at that moment because those children who have escaped Ukraine are in America now, and they're in American schools, and they're watching American television and learning American culture. And, the boy from from Finland was, he's like, well, they don't do much teaching here in American schools. Oh,
not right.
But I realized at that moment that, like what Oliver Anthony. So I sent you that. I know everyone is talking about Oliver Anthony right now, and if you do not know about Oliver Anthony, please start studying up, researching this gentleman, because he is absolutely ordained from God to speak to us. He truly is. I saw that also in a message. There's a YouTube video, again, if you haven't seen it, which is meeting you for the second time. I'll go ahead and
two parts.
There's two parts. So it's the second part where I hear him channeling. And I realize we've been waiting for someone who is just opened up,
shining the light.
Yeah, he went through some trauma, which this is what's happening is when we have gone through trauma, we get so broken and our ego breaks and what we think is right breaks and we hit rock bottom. And what's so beautiful is when you hit rock bottom,
there's only one way up.
Yeah, and source is there, spirit is there, God is there with that hand out, reaching you back up. And this guy just knew it. And he knew it, and he spoke he's channeling for all of us. And it just went global because it's not even hitting the US, it's hitting Russia, it's hitting the Ukraine. He said he's having people from all over the world. So this is what I mean.
Group then would normally be interested in this. So it's reaching people who were not reached before, which is very impactful.
And that song, I Want to Go Home. Yeah. How often do we say this? Like as light workers, as empaths, as mediums, we know that we're here in an avatar, I think, for the most part. At least that's my feeling on this. This is an earth suit. I created it. Kind of cute. I would have given myself better hair next time, but this avatar works for now. And my soul, that which is me, created this avatar that I'm living in. And this isn't where, we're from. We're here
Correct.
having a human experience in this human body where we have sense pleasures, which according to source and spirit, those are supposed to be quite enjoyable.
Correct.
So like over there, you don't really have this physical body that's touching and tasting and feeling. So we forget how beautiful it is just to have the gift of touch.
Right.
And sight through eyes and the way the colors are reflecting and the way that your voice sounds as it hits my eardrums. It's meant to be pleasurable to be here.
And we don't know any difference, so we take it for granted. I was just listening to a channel that said that so many people want to see it through our eyes because the colors are more vibrant than you'd ever see anywhere else. And like you said, the sensations, like it's meant to be a place to do work and to help others, service to others, but it's also meant to be of enjoyment and balancing the two.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. I had forgotten that for a little bit until I had my little breakdown, which I'm not going to talk about today. It was years ago. But when I came out of it, through the other side of it, the only thing that was left was my sense perceptions. And they were so beautiful. And for my meditations, what I do every day is the moment I feel a little glitchy, which I believe we're all feeling glitchy these days, like a lot of energy is around us and a lot of pressure, and people on the streets are feeling it. And if they don't have active spiritual practices, they don't know how to feel better. And they're glitchy and they're irritated and they're angry and they're driving in the cars. I can't believe how many people honk at me because I just drive nice.
I like how you drive.
You drive really slow, kind of. Like I like to just drive slow and enjoy my drive. And the moment I feel I have to rush somewhere, time is gaining control over me. And when time, which is very earth, very 3D, very dense, heavy time energy, that's where we don't think we have enough time to be nice to each other. We don't have enough time to let that poor old lady cross the road. I guarantee you road ragers out there trying to honk at that old lady.
You're so right. So right.
They are. Why can't that lady walk fast?
Come on, I gotta go to work.
Gotta go to work. Or I gotta and you find yourself even rushing to get into Publix.
Right.
To get home, to rush, to make dinner, to get home, to rush, to sit down and watch kind of mindless TV.
Right. There's the connection to ourselves and all of that. Where's the connection to source there? It's just not a priority, unfortunately.
We don't have time for that, Jen. Not when we're living in the time dimension. That is the number one. Eckhart Tolle states in his book, and I think it's all over the place in the Bible and everywhere. I think it's everywhere. Time is the number one obstacle to hearing source.
I love that. That's very true.
And I'm gonna let that settle for a second. And I say that, and that's why a lot of times when people are rushing and they're losing their keys or they're forgetting or losing their AirPods, like me constantly, like losing things, it's because I'm in my mind, right. And I'm rushing and my mind is controlling and I'm losing everything, and then I'm irritated, and that's just what's happening with the time. So meditations. Yeah. So if anyone, because we have our opening meditation now, in which I'm going to ring our bell and whatnot, and I'll probably mention this often because time is really important. It's just monitor your relationship with time, monitor it, and not everyone, me too. Monitor your relationship with time. And the moment you feel time has taken over, take your time back, meaning allow that lady to walk as slow as she wants, and you just breathe through every step she takes, appreciate every step she takes, breathe through, let that irritation go. And even at that point, even when she's passed, give yourself a moment to put your foot on the gas and just ease into it. Now you're going to have 12 people honking behind you, but that's their lesson. You took yours.
Very good point.
Okay. That's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, so let me just see, because we have a fun show coming up. So we decided that we're going to be doing this on Mondays. For those of you who are listening and around, Joseph, I believe, put the link in our social media. I am not necessarily a tech girl, but Source my guides have led me to be here. So I will honor them and serve how I'm asked to, which means I have to learn a bit about tech. In the meantime, I'm relying on my boyfriend, Johnny, and my bestie, Joseph. But I have to learn how to do it myself. It's time for that. I have so much exciting stuff to talk about. So what this show is going to be about is because my guides have so much to say, and I'm channeling so often now, as are most of you. All of you are channeling. That'll be a conversation I think I'm going to have later. And they want to talk. They would like us to all get together and collectively talk about feeling better and enjoying our human experience a bit more. Getting some of that stress, some of those tools, some guidance, some energy healing, metaphysical topics, because our star family is out there. And I believe we're at the point where many people do understand there is a star family and it's communicating to us actively. I believe if you're stumbling upon this show, you're also in communication with your guides and your star family and your angels, and potentially looking for some messages on how to perhaps communicate better or receive their messages better. And that is the goal of this show. We don't exactly know how it's going to form because we're working in tandem with them. So sometimes I have a loose guideline, but what the show's going to do, they usually hijack it and bring the people around and talk about the subjects that they need to talk about. But a couple fun. Okay, so Jen,
Yes.
how are you at meditation? Like,
I'm doing very well with guided meditation, but if I have to just sit there and lose my thoughts, I have a very hard time. I think about time and all the things I have to do and my lists for work. So that part I don't do well with, but I do very well with guided meditation.
Okay. So have you ever given a guided meditation?
I haven't. I'm open.
She's like, Kristen, I'm open. Maybe not at this moment, Chris, but even though I believe you could do it at this moment,
Baby steps.
So I'm baby steps. So I'm not going to throw Jen under the bus like that, but I know that I'm going to give her this to do next week. And then she's going to spend the next 12 hours of the next 7 days thinking about what her guided meditation is going to be.
You know me too well.
But as soon you will relax those and allow the channel, because Jen is a channel. We're going to learn more about Jen today. And so you are a strong channel. And so being able to move that brain move the Jen brain, because there's a Jen brain and then there's your higher self brain, and that's for everyone. And I got a Chris brain that tells me you want to eat that fifth cookie, you do. And then I have my higher power going, no, you don't. You do not want to eat that cookie. You don't. You're not going to feel good afterwards, right? So we want to try to figure out which wolf we're feeding, or which voice we're listening to, or how we can tell the difference between when source and our guides and our star family is communicating to us versus our louder
mind and ego,
time-minded human self. And the thing is we haven't really been practicing training our minds in the way to receive source like the radio antennas that we are. So we're studying so much in schools and whatnot, but we really should be working with the children on how to tune their radio sense so that they're able to receive these messages as well, because they're coming through to everybody. And I know everyone knows that right now. I know that they do. This is not weird news anymore. Thank God.
Thank God.
Okay, I'm going to ring my bell. So when I ring the bell, this is also a practice of presence and a practice in sense awareness. So the bell is meant to bring us into our senses, what we can hear, what we can smell, and bring us out of time and into the present moment. So here we go. Take some breaths, humans. I really love that bell. It's like good. I have another bell too. That's for when we bring people on our show. So, by the way, y'all, if you would like to come on, we are going to take on some guests. We'll be talking about a few topics. So if you would like to pop on, we'll give you readings and talk about whatever is actively coming up into your present moment. Okay, so my alarm didn't go. I tried to set my alarm. So, and here's another thing, Jen. So you can help too. 7:11, 7:22, 7:33, 7:44, those are times that we're going to take a little break.
Okay.
Take a breath. Allow people to rebound. So we missed our 7-Eleven time. So
We'll get the hang
I'm
of
going to
it.
click into something. Yeah, we'll get the hang of it. So I'm going to click onto something just to get used to it, make up for a 7-Eleven time. And guys, we'll be back in about 30 seconds. And this is a little tiny meme. We'll talk about memes when I come back. All right. And this gives me practice anyway, what I'm doing. All right, let's play this video. Yay, we'll be right back. Yay! Okay, that was our first meme video. It was a solid D. I'll give you that. We couldn't read any of the memes, but Joseph promises he's going to somehow fix that for us next week.
We picked such good ones too, but you just
Jen-
can't read them.
Jen, your memes were so good.
I've been collecting them.
cannot wait. They are flawless. And y'all, I'm super excited. Here's an example of one meme. It's the only one I could fit on here. Let's just see if I can do it. Oh, here we go. Me. I think I'm addicted to crystals. I love that. Hold on. Let's just take us off for one. I love that. I think I'm addicted to crystals. I have a crystal for that.
Guilty.
So I love that, Jen. I love that meme. You have so many great ones. And Joseph's next week, we're going to have a massive meme download for like all the spiritual memes that you can imagine. And so let's see. We have a guest. So let me bring her on and say hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, guest. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Very welcome. I just got out of the pool. Can you tell? Sorry.
No, that's great.
Oh, no, that's okay. It's Labor Day, so it was meant to be a pool day for absolutely sure. So tell us, Patrice, tell us about yourself.
I'm a retired photographer. Well, I'm not totally retired yet. I still do a lot of headshots and families.
Amazing. So I love that is what Patrice's human self does. But you would not be on this show if you did not have another side to you. That's what we would like to know about.
Okay, well, you're going to help me out with that one. So,
all right. So Patrice, what made you click on this?
believe it or not, I came across it on my calendar as to join my friends. I know Joseph very well, and I'm just meeting Jennifer now. So hi, Jennifer.
Very nice to meet you.
Hey.
Nice to meet you too, sweetheart. Very nice.
I love putting
So
a
how do you
name
know
to the
Joseph?
face.
Thank you. Here I am.
Okay, Patrice, how do you know Joseph?
Joseph and I go way back. Joseph we used to work together.
And with the photography.
Right.
No.
Okay, so you're from Joseph's other life
Yes,
as well.
Joseph's other life. That's right.
Okay. All right. So Patrice, there's always a reason. And you're here, your guides brought you here. So we'll figure out what it is. I'm gonna figure out what it is. Let's see. Patrice. All right, so I see. Okay. So what do you know about energy?
I know I feel a lot of energy. I feel very empathic. I can feel people's feelings. I know sometimes when something's going to come about, and just a little bit like that. But I'm not as good as Joseph's, like really good. Very
Yeah.
good.
Right.
We'll
Well,
leave him in another
and what
league.
you're
Right.
saying,
He's in a totally another league.
Joseph is not from anywhere
No.
on this planet. We haven't figured out where Joseph's from yet.
One day we will.
Right.
Okay, so Patrice, being empathic and feeling how other people are feeling is something that we are all learning, that we all possess. So, you know, what's so beautiful about that is learning which energies you allow to take hold in your environment and affect your life. And so, for example, and I guess I'm just gonna say, like, for example, energies that are around that might be destabilizing, that might be a little bit of like fighting or a little bit of negativity or whatnot. To an empath like yourself, it can be very chaotic to your soul. And so sometimes it helps to make sure that your energy and your environment is clear and clean. And that just helps everyone who's involved. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Oh, yes. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing too is, so I just, you know, I pull this collective card, which is a little bit, it's called guilt. And I know this card well. And sometimes when things have happened in our past and they can tend to be a bit traumatic, or like, why did that happen? Why did I make that decision? Why did I allow that to happen? And sometimes that can also affect your empathetic self, because you're an empath. So you're very sensitive to everyone's energies all the time. And when those energies are coming close to you and they're like staticky and unhealthy and they feel a little lower, that can affect your overall general
That's
well-being.
without a doubt.
So, yeah. So, as a bit of advice, moving into something that's, I love this phase. It's called a silent phase. And I learned this phase many moons ago when I was trying to fix everything, or trying to help all the time, or trying to heal. And I knew it at the time. I was trying to heal and trying to fix. And, well, why don't you listen? Or why don't we do this? And I was talking. And sometimes it's just best to move into silent phase. Focus on getting the relationship with your guides, because you are very empathic. So your guides want a relationship with you. They want you to trust that you have the courage to make, you know, some of these choices and decisions that you're facing, and that you're going to have this beautiful life where you're just walking and you're picking flowers and you're gardening and you're walking and just having this beautiful, simple, ordinary life, which is gorgeous, you know. And some of the fighting and some of the other stuff, you know, let's, you know, get that to dissipate.
Luckily, I'm very blessed. I live in a beautiful home surrounded by beautiful plantings and
I see that.
beautiful family. So,
You could see that, right?
oh, yeah, I do see that. Thank you. Yes.
See that girl with all the flowers?
beautiful.
She's living in a beautiful
Oh,
life.
thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a beautiful environment. All right. Well, thank you so much, Patrice, for coming on. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're welcome.
Now you get to meet Jennifer.
Good
So
luck
nice
to
to
you.
meet you.
Oh, Jennifer, I heard so much and I've been watching you.
Oh, good. Thanks for being with us on our first show while we get the
You're
hang of things. We
welcome.
appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thank you, Patrice.
Yes, you're very welcome. Mwah. Be good, girl.
Come and see us again
I
soon.
will, for sure.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
She's
Okay.
lovely.
Lala. She's lovely. A lovely friend of y'all's. I'm so glad she came on. Okay. What's our time? We missed our time.
It's so hard.
We missed our time again. All right, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it one more time.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got another. I'm gonna get the hang of the time. It's 7:22, 7:33. You know what? I'm gonna play it at 7:33.
Okay.
And in the meantime, Jen, I have a little tiny story to tell you, and then I want to know if you have any fun stories to tell. But I have a few minutes to tell my story. This is a really fun story. So, John, who is my boyfriend, his brother passed away many years ago. And when I met John, I felt his brother very strongly around me, like really strong, constantly communicating. Like I almost felt like I knew his brother's energy even more than I knew his energy. So it was an interesting experience, to say the least. Then his father crossed over. And the same thing happened, where I started feeling this connection. And I even told you about it, right?
I didn't know about his
10:30
father,
molecular
but I knew about his
energy.
brother.
Well, so the 1118 and the 1031s, those two numbers I've been seeing for a solid year, and I couldn't figure out why. And finally I was like, well, maybe they're just letting me know that they like me, right? Like, hey, we like you. And I kept seeing the numbers. And then finally I was like, maybe I need to tell John more about it. And I kept sending him to John, and John's like, well, that's nice, Chris. And it's nice. I'm like, this isn't it. And they're still coming through, still coming through. So finally, I don't know why it took me so long to realize this. I was like, let me send it to their mother, to Johnny's mother.
Because she's the one who always remembers
Think
everything.
about that. Yeah. So then I finally start sending it to the mother, and she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. This means everything to me. This means the world to me. And I was like, okay, I'm on the right track here. This is what they're trying to communicate with me. They're trying to get me to bring it to her. So then 1118, I take a picture because it just pops up. And the strange thing is, you know, we look at the clock all the time. And I've really, after the year that maybe longer that this has been happening, I notice specifically, I feel and hear someone say, look up, look at the clock. So like I will be doing something else and something will tell me to look up, and it will either be 1031 or 1118. Which means it's not just a coincidence. I needed to know if I just programmed my mind to see this or something, or is there something more to this? So the last time it happens, it's 1118. I take a picture on the phone and I send it to his mother. And she's so beautiful. I have to read what she wrote. She writes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't believe that this is happening. This is what she writes, right? She goes, oh my God, this is so unreal. And she says, I really love these things. They mean so much to me. But this is what she says. She says, hold on, where is it? Where is it? She says, I know that they're trying, I don't know. She says, I know that they're trying to tell me something. Oh, here it is. Here, I have to go back. This is the best part. She says, I know that they are trying to tell us something. Now, this is like at 11:20. And I said, yeah, I do too. I'm not really sure what it is. At 11:24, my phone rings. My phone rings, y'all. And it says 831-0722 is the number. Now, I almost stopped driving at that point because 0722 is his mother's birthday. And that's the first thing that triggered me, as I was like, oh, and guess what 831 means? It's a code. Everyone knows it. It's a beeper code. It's mine and my best friend's beeper code growing up, but it's also well known. 8 letters, 3 words, 1 meaning. I love you. Right here. My phone. So 5 minutes later, my phone rings with I love you with her birthday, 0722.
That's wild.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
It was amazing. It was amazing that it happened like that. Like he literally went across, he went across like time, like borders. What are you doing back there, Jen?
He's doing something. He's fixing things.
No, I didn't go in the chat. Have you looked at our chat?
I've been following it. Yes, people are commenting. No one's asked any questions though, so we're good so far. People are very funny.
Oh, there's Patrice. Oh, Elijah. Hi, Elijah.
I love Patrice tells us to help the poor old lady crossing the street. We definitely will.
Irene says hello. Oh, Leo says hi. Aw, that's my son. Anyway, that was my spirit source. So Jen, just imagine that for a second. Your husband passes over. He's been sending numbers, and then he calls my phone to say I love you to his wife from across the
It takes
veil.
a lot of energy to do that. A lot of determination.
I know.
So
That's what I said.
and even keeping the messages coming to you, even though you weren't putting it together, the fact that they didn't stop was amazing, because every time the synchronicities happen, it's them having to exert a lot of energy to make it happen. So it was very determined.
Exactly what I told you. I said that takes a lot of power to make the phone ring with those numbers, 8 letters, 3 words. I love you to Patty. And she says, I know they're trying to tell us something. And he says, I love you from across. I just was so amazed. I know. I mean, like he reached across, and then I text her. I'm like, you understand that's beeper code. Like this is the most amazing.
Thank goodness knowing that you would understand it. Because if it was to me, I wouldn't understand. Like, so they're able to understand what is in our brains. Just like you always say, we have to have it in there for them to tap into.
Correct. So And 831 was mine and my 16-year-old best friend's beeper codes to each other.
Helen's being kind enough to remind us that it's 7:33 so we don't miss another. Thank you, Helen.
Okay. All right, I'm going to get it because we have commercial break. Oh, wait, I just disappeared it. Hold on. Captions, music, note, design. Joseph normally does this.
I know.
All right, here we go. I'm going to play a couple commercials. Bear with us, please. It's going to get better as time goes. Okay, 2 commercials down. We did it. That was pretty good, right?
Did you put those together?
Yeah.
Good job.
And that last commercial was also a D, but no one fully is going to notice yet because June 13th of, last year. But I managed to A for effort. Eventually, those are going to be legitimate things that are going to be shown in there. And, and just got to figure out how to do it. Joseph said, Chris, you got to, I don't know who's talking things that are over my head. I got to save it in a pixel.
Yeah, it goes over my head too.
It's over my head. Okay, so Jen, since it is, we did our 8:33. We're about 10 minutes behind, but that's okay. Did you have some questions, metaphysical world news topics? Did you want to bring any questions to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to prepare like things that might be relevant. So things I could talk about were energy updates, like what happened in August, because I feel even people who are not into metaphysics, into anything, are asking what happened. And
okay, what happened?
So there were we had like a month full of energetic events that, somebody said it feels like the whole month has been a full moon. And I would say that pretty much is true. Like
year has been a full
oh my
moon.
Gosh, but even just August, like people are like, even people who aren't into this are just saying, I feel a mess, my emotions are all over the place, and a lot of fear, a lot of, questioning of ourselves, and, the events that have been going on, just to give validation to people who, astrology, I'm not an expert at it, but the energetic events that are major, they come through a lot of channeled messages. And just like Kristen said with channeling, we'll talk about that later, but just a quick overview in case it's new for you. Channeling is people who are able to tune in and accept the frequencies of higher beings, our galactic family, angels, spirit guides, our galactic family, all of those things, people who want to help us, they can channel through these people. Joseph's one of them. That's actually, he's somebody who was in the first pioneering of it, but they all have been mentioning these events. So even if you're not into astrology, I think it's worth looking at them. We had the big first thing we went through that was the end of August, the beginning of end of July, beginning of August was Lionsgate, which everybody talks about. It's a great time for manifesting. That's when the Sun, Leo, and Sirius are all aligned, and it's supposed to create a portal that's really good for focusing on your goals and obtaining them. But what they don't really talk about is a time of purging as well. It's trying to get rid of all the things that aren't serving us.
So that's what I've been hearing. Full-time
For
purge.
everything.
They want me to everything. They don't even want me to have caffeine anymore.
Nothing.
I can't even have nothing. That I'm told that I need a complete and total
So not fun.
sugar and everything. I know, and they're giving me solid 40 days, and I'm like, can I start tomorrow?
Or the next day?
How about tomorrow? It's time. Like they're putting their foot down on this.
Oh yeah,
cleansing. They're asking me to cleanse because they're telling me that my body needs to be in optimization to hold the new energies that are coming in and the vibrational communication coming through. That my body needs to be in a good condition, better
100%.
conditions, and toxins, even meats,
processed anything.
Yeah, you got to get that out of your body for your body to hold the energy that's coming through.
And part of the thing that I, was mentioning in one of the channelings that is a good point, I never thought about it, is that if you're watching this, you're probably part of the Awakened Collective, in one way or another.
Correct.
You're a light worker, Starseed.
Absolutely. So, we didn't stumble on this for nothing.
And we actually, you don't remember we made this agreement, but part of our jobs here are to be the first ones to take the brunt of the incoming energies, and then through us pass it on to the collective and the earth, so that they can better handle the front line. So it's harder on us than it is on other people. So sometimes we feel like we're not doing well enough because we feel like a mess. Like we're into all this, we're practicing, and we're still a mess. But that's part of our job here, is because we can handle it. We wouldn't take it on if we couldn't handle it. Your higher self knows this. Your brain and your ego don't, but that's part of why I think we're feeling it so intense. And especially for you, Kristen, like you're saying, they're not messing around. You didn't get to just cut these few bad habits out. It's cutting a lot.
All of them right now, like yesterday, like I'm procrastinating. I know I'm behind on this.
I'm not alone.
Yeah. So now here's the thing though, Jen, also is okay, there's another energy that's out there that's trying to derail my success in this area.
Okay.
So there is something else that's like, oh, you're not supposed to have that drink. Let me bring you to a bar.
Self-sabotage, maybe?
Oh, I don't think it's not from me. This is not from me. This is something else. So keep it in mind, y'all, because, and this is also, I think Oliver Anthony even said it the other day. He said, we're all kind of receiving this. You know what you're being led to do. That information, we have that information. We've all been given that information. Your soul is like, do this, like, maybe it is stop drinking and start writing that book, or maybe it is like go help the puppies and kittens that are on the side of the roads. I don't know what you're calling, but people have their callings now, and they've received their messages. They have, many of them know it, but
they might not know it in their conscious. Their subconscious knows it, their higher self knows it, but a lot of people, and that's what this month was about, was getting everything out of the way so that they could see clearly what their soul purpose is and move forward.
But moving forward is the hard part.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Practicing what you preach.
Yeah, it's the moving forward, because we're like, okay, we get it. I know that I'm supposed to be doing this show. I know that I'm supposed to be talking to people. I know that I'm supposed to be doing all that stuff. But it's that there's that heavy energy that's pressing in a little bit on me, and it's hard. It's like I'm moving through sludge. And I have heard that we are on the front lines, like you said. And you may not have noticed, but in these memes, there is a picture of the little girl who was painting at 3 years old, and she painted a picture of Jesus. I'm going to talk about one of these memes when we get our memes up and running. And she painted this beautiful picture of what she says is Jesus. And the little boy, heaven is for real, who went over to heaven and then came back and wrote that little book, he saw a picture of it and he said, Mama, that is the man I saw. That is Jesus. So now we have two children. One went over, one is channeling the information, saying this is who this soul is. And the thing is that little boy said that we have swords. He sees swords, that we're at some sort of war of sorts. And even the Bible speaks about some sort of war. And every single movie that we ever watch, there is the sides of the light and the sides of the dark. That's not a coincidence. We didn't just create that. So there is a type of energetic spiritual polarity. I'm not saying that it's negative or positive, whatnot, because that's negative and positive is that's just feeding into the
you need
war.
both.
It's just feeding into it. You have to have it, but and then even the white wolf and the black wolf. Which wolf are you feeding? The one who's telling you to do the things you're not supposed to be doing, or which wolf is becoming stronger? I mean, this is as old as tales of time. So just keep that in mind, y'all who are listening, that when you have an idea, I want to go, write that book, or I want to, whatever it is, I want to go help the people over there. And then you're going to find that black wolf, because it's easier to think of it that way, going, oh, what do you think? Who do you think? What do you think you can do that? No one wants to read your book. You can't get over there. You're only one person. That is the voices that that we're fighting against, whatever this energy is that's trying to derail us, that's the voice of that.
One of the major themes right now is about getting through our limiting beliefs. Like they say, like tip of the iceberg, our conscious is very limited. But our subconscious is from all the experiences we've gone through, and we form these beliefs. And when I was asking about self-sabotage, I was listening about this woman who, she was older, she could not lose weight. And they ended up diving into her subconscious, and they realized that when she was younger, her mother was heavy, lost a ton of weight, immediately had an affair, broke the whole family apart. So her subconscious matched losing the weight as a cause of negative consequences. So we sometimes don't even know. Don't get me wrong, polarity, you always are going to have two sides the goal is for us all to come together in the end. That's what source goes out and it comes back in. We're on the path back in, but there's still division. But sometimes our limiting beliefs that we form, we don't even know we formed them, are the things that are keeping us back from doing all the things we're here to do. So this month, the full moons, we have how many? Eight planets in retrograde right now. All of these things, as much as I'm not super into astrology, all these things are causing us to have to go in and analyze what is in there what's dense, what's keeping us down. And I think that's exactly
it's very heavy. Dense is a good word. All right, so I'm going to ask a silly question. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what is retrograde?
Retrograde is, so it's actually an illusion is what I've heard. So like I take retrograde with a grain of salt, but it appears as if the planet's moving backwards. So it's not that the planet's moving backward. It just has to do with our orbit and our view. I might be wrong on that.
So like we're having to move backwards before we can move forward.
Yeah, it's like it causes, each planet causes, like obviously we know Mercury causes communication problems. So when it's going backwards, that part that planet is responsible for with our energies on this planet, it can make them pause, delayed, stagnant. So when that happens, there can be things arising that are unexpected, but also it gives us time to reflect on those things and try to figure out what we need to change, what we need to dive into moving forward. It's supposed to be a spin on it being a positive instead of just a negative.
So probably in this moment, with everyone feeling that retrograde energy, because I'm definitely feeling that.
Today was the 8th planet.
Yeah. Where's my sword? Who am I fighting against? Maybe it's myself. I'm not sure. And so some advice is pick up those meditation practices.
Oh, Helen's got it. Oh, we're way too late. Helen was helping us. It was
no, Helen's totally right. Thank you. I know it was 7:44. And you know what,
Helen?
Thank you. I saw that. I'm going into commercial, and then we're going to be right back with this topic, and we're wrapping up in the next 10, 15 minutes. And just as a reminder, Joseph's and Hope, Love, and Laughter will be doing readings for the hour after that. And then next Monday, I'll repeat this, but next Monday, me and Jen will be coming on, and then we have a guest, Sarah, coming too. All right. So I'm gonna play this one. No, I might have already played that one. I'm gonna play this one.
Good job. That was definitely better.
Those were my two newest videos that I'm making. So those were a little bit better. I'm working on them. I'm going to figure out how to do all that tech stuff. So something in that video just reminded me where it said 10 steps to keep that negative energy away. And one of your memes was so good. It was like, if you have time to, all right, eat that pizza, right, then you have time to meditate. It was something along those
Yes.
lines.
I love the one where it has like Superman, it has the cat with all the memes. It's saying the whole world, and it just says meditate. But we all know we're supposed to do it, and we don't do it enough.
I know, and this is what we need to do right now. And the thing is that what it's so important is, like, it's not really just for you. Now, while I'd like to say meditate for your own health, we're not that great at taking care of ourselves on our own. We're working on it every day, but you're helping other people when you meditate, because if you can vibrate, if you can release and alchemize, it's called alchemize some of the negative energy that is shooting through you, and it goes into your body, you, because you're a spiritual practicing teacher and master, can vibrate and clear it, send it up, send it down, send it where it needs to go, and then vibrate the higher vibrations of the planet. And now Jennifer is affected by it, and now Jennifer is nicer to her neighbors. And now when I'm nicer to the checkout lady's nicer to all the people in the line behind. And when I let the old lady cross the road, there's definitely one or two people back there, even when they're honking, realize that they need to get themselves together. 100%. You're honking at a person letting an old lady go by. And sometimes they're honking being jerks, and then they see the old lady and they're like, oh my God, I'm a real jerk. I need to get myself together.
Calm down.
Yeah, we're all here. And this is what I meant by we're all here. And, globally, not just Americans right now, where we have the Ukrainian kids here and Polish kids and Finnish kids and all over the world. We have these children here, and we're loving on them because we just love people. We just do, But imagine that, like, globally, we have a species, like our species. We need to start, and we know this, but it starts with just one person at a time, and it really does. And I remember, just to say it very fast, that when all of this started downloading, I was like, how am I supposed to help everyone? That's like a really big job, God. I don't know what you want from me. Like, that's a lot. And I was like, how am I supposed to heal the world? And he's like, oh my God, the best thing is you don't have to. Source of that. You don't have to. You just have to just do you. And how powerful one healed empath or one healed light worker, the vibrations go out, and they can vibrate not only your cities, your towns, your states, and then it vibrates, and then I'm like a flame, and my flame lights up her, and she lights up them, and they light up everyone else. And you light up a family member, a neighbor, or the people in the parks, or even the people in the bars. Go to the bars. Just make sure you're meditating through your alcoholic beverages.
You have your homework for Kristen from the week, okay?
Yeah. Yes, that was my homework from me. You're 100% right. Thank you. Okay, and you're right. And it is 7:52, so we are going to wrap up at 8 o'clock. So that's a few minutes left. So Jen, was there anything else? So there's a couple things. I am totally going to start bringing up some whacked out news. So there's something. Can you find us for next week some whacked out news, and I'll bring some whacked out, just some
Happily.
silly, funny, relevant
Got it.
stuff. Also, Jen, let's hear a little bit more about you since we have a few minutes, because you didn't really tell us, like, when did this happen for you that you were able to when did your spiritual journey blossom?
Well, it was probably 7 or 8 years ago. I didn't really have, I was raised Catholic. I understood the idea of God. But I had a little dog that was like my baby, my child. And when she passed away, I was over her and I felt without any kind of doubt, like if there's a bad situation, you want me on your side because I'm all logic, I'm not emotion. And I felt her little soul come out of her body and through mine. And it was just pure bliss. And it was absolute proof to me that there was more than our bodies. We were not our bodies.
Give me chills.
So that was where I really knew for a fact. And then I met my mentor and started into metaphysics. And the first thing she ever said was to look up the word starseed. And that's really what brought me on my journey, is just it's led me to people, to groups, to information. And that's really where I resonate with that.
Yeah, and if you guys have a story, I know I have an email clicker somewhere up here that apparently next week I'll have for sure. I would like to hear your stories too.
We would love to. That'd be very interesting.
Talk about it. Yeah, like we need to start talking about this as common as we're talking about, what coffees we're drinking. Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts. It's like, no, what is your story?
Right.
Because everyone has one. And even when I'm, and I talk and I go into Joseph's events and there's 300 plus people and I'm like, how many of you have had an experience before? Everyone's raising their hands. There's a couple who haven't, but I have found even the couple who haven't, they're like, well, I'm not going to admit it. The reality is if we were talking about this a lot more normally and a lot more openly and organically, we might have taken a lot more progression in the field of metaphysics so that we can understand, hi, we're all seeing spirits. We're all empathic. We're all hearing things before they happen. I can shoot my energy across the nation. What does that mean exactly? I would like to get some of those real physics scientists on what we are just generally naturally feeling as humans. And I know that there are people who know it, and I'm not entirely sure why we're not being taught it or exposed to it, or they just want to kind of keep it under wraps. Because imagine if we all knew how truly powerful we are, because we should all be learning how to remote view. And I mean, and the way Joseph speaks to spirits, I mean, it's incredible, but I have spoken to them as well. But I don't necessarily have a platform to learn and to train. I can do a reading for someone in Russia that doesn't even speak English. Just give me a name and I can give an accurate reading. It's been proven. How is that possible? And I understand physics, and that's why I call it metaphysics. And that's what I consider myself as a practitioner of metaphysics, because it's just fascinating. And like how you saw that your little puppy's soul. So my soul, I have two stories. My soul in a surgery, and it shook me to my core, and validated a lot for me, is floated above in the room of the surgery, and I watched them perform surgery on me. And I didn't know where I was for a second, and I'm looking down going, I see this doctor, and I see people, I don't even know he's a doctor. I see a guy with a blue, hat on, and he's got this little blonde curls, and I see blue outfit. And I'm thinking, what am I looking at? I see myself sitting up. Who knew this surgery was done sitting up? Who knew? I didn't. And no one ever told me this, and I never even asked. But I guarantee you, if someone were to ask, the surgery is done sitting up. And I got one nurse on this side and this giant, big, like burly guy, a nurse on that side. And I see this long, silvery umbilical cord thing attached to me, and I'm floating on the ceiling. And I look up, and the walls and ceilings are gone, and I saw space, and I said, oh shit, I shouldn't be here. I cursed. So it wasn't like I turned straight into an angel or anything, guys. I cursed. My soul, my spirit, this person who's talking to you right now was the same person floating up on that ceiling. And that's what like really, I was like, okay, so this is a real thing. This happened. And then I used that cord to kind of get back in, and I'm in this deep sedation. And I woke up deep. They said worse than an epidural sedation. And I woke up and I went, I can't breathe. And everyone just went crazy. And I went back to bed. And no one even spoke to me about it. No one told me, like, we never talked about it afterwards. I know what happened because I was there and I didn't want to talk to the doctor. It was weird. I went home and just like, and then I felt a squirrel's spirit leave its body because I was so upset that I couldn't keep it alive. It was dying, and I did my best, and I tried to heat it, and it was like, and it died, and I was just like sobbing, and I felt it jump out of its little body and crawl on me and tell me it was okay. It was like, it's okay. And I was like, oh, okay. I just saw a squirrel.
And it goes beyond anybody understanding until you go through it. There's,
that's the thing is when you've seen what I've seen. And that's what changes. I'm a very logical person too. I'm a straight A student. I've studied biology, microbiology, physics. I've studied everything. I've run a construction company. I'm like as intellectually logical as it gets. And so logically, I've seen someone explain stuff, and I want to know answers. I've seen stuff that can't be explained. And it's not in the books, and we're not learning it, and it's called woo woo. No, it's not. It's not. It's real.
No, there are very high-end, well-renowned people who are scientists who
studying
give
this,
you. Remember, we were talking about it last weekend. We were even talking about some of the experiments. You know, we don't understand them at the level that scientists do, but these people are explaining. We can't understand all of it because our civilization isn't there as far as technology and science, but we can understand enough of it to prove it's real.
Yeah. But you know what? If we were studying it, maybe instead of writing another history book, I get it. History should be a 16-week class. We need to be studying metaphysics and energy healing and remote viewing and
how to do our taxes. That's another one they should have been teaching us. Anything that was useful, they taught us nothing useful.
No, and they're still not. And the kid from Finland was like, he says to his mom, they don't teach in these schools here, Mom. They don't. There's no education happening here. And I was like, oh.
And it's not the teacher's fault. You know, they're so limited.
No. They are so limited in what they're allowed to teach.
And they have to be so
not allowed to say this word.
Yes.
And they have to pass these certain tests. And if you don't pass these tests and these, no, it's a rigged system.
Yeah, it's a very
I know. We know it. We know it. Okay. So we are at our 8:00. So Sarah McNeil is coming next week, and we're going to talk all about aliens. I just want to really talk about aliens. Yeah, we saw the Pleiadians. I don't know a ton of them. I know that I've been up in a ship, and I will tell my story next week. I want to hear Jen's story because I think she's connected with them. And I know this Sarah McNeil is. I know she's channeling. That's a little gift I have is I can feel when things are like happening inside of you and what they are. So I know Sarah is channeling from some extraterrestrials. So she'll be on next week, I hope. And then guess what? The following week, I'm hoping to bring my my very dear friend, Gabby. Gabby's also very metaphysical and very spiritual, and she runs a health and wellness program. So we're going to be talking all about health and wellness on the upcoming weeks. And then I want to add talking maybe about like love and relationships in the next upcoming week. So all those are like in our next 4 weeks of shows. Y'all check out Oliver Anthony, please. If you have not, this man is just, I'm in love, really. Oh, I love this human. I love him so much. Okay. And, all right. And I think that's it. Jen, do you have anything to add? Like next week, you're going to bring some topics. Any ideas about what topics you might bring up next week?
I was thinking about, expanding on when we talked about emotional intelligence and kind of going into what that really looks like and changing it from what, we think of it one way, but maybe we could look at it a little more transparent.
Cool. And what do you mean by emotional intelligence? Meaning like
what we were talking about as far as not being cold, but using, not just reacting and being able to use respond, but using all of our team instead of just, and it will feel a lot better if we could do that.
Okay, I'm on board with that for sure. So and we're gonna get the memes. You guys got to see these memes. So memes
some good ones.
A meme download next week for sure. And get a hold of us somehow. Please come on the show. Be a guest. We want to hear your stories. Also, like and share this video. That helps us. Find us on YouTube. And I think have a good night. I'm gonna play some goodbye videos. But well, how'd it go, Jen? We did good for our first show.
I think we. Good. We had no problems with technology, knock on wood, so we're ahead of the game.
Yes, and if any of you need a reading or you want to come on for some energy healing or you just want to be a guest and share one of your stories or, what source is telling you, bring it on because we're all in this together.
Any requests for topics and suggestions, feedback, we're open. We thank you for being a part of our first show and bearing with us, but I think we have something great coming.
Yay! We'll see you next week. Okay, signing off. Bye. All right, I'm going to play this video.